Welcome to the first episode of Delicious Meter, where I will be taking a look at Velocitron Override, and we will be seeing just how delicious this figure is. Make sure you guys like, subscribe if you're new. My Instagram and TikTok are all linked down below, and yeah, let's get straight to it. People are sort of going crazy over this stuff right now, especially the Cosmos. I sort of talked about it a little bit in my Cosmos review, which will be linked in the description. It's a stop motion review for those of you who haven't seen it. But Override here, she's very faithful to the Cybertron design, how she looked in the cartoon, and her toy design, which was, of course, the cartoon designs were pretty much based off the toy designs, I'm pretty sure, from Aaron Archer. So you got the head sticking up there, which gives off a nice little head crest, and the actual head and face itself is hidden pretty well. It's just the top part here that doubles as sort of like dynamic wings for the silhouette of the car, which is cool. Got these wings up here, which are articulated on like friction joints, which is nice. And they were sort of like that in the show and on comics and stuff like that, so pretty cool. The wheels are clear plastic, but they feel nice and solid, and they're also pinned in, so it rolls like butter pretty much, which feels very nice when you roll it around. And the overall details are pretty nice. I wish that this was painted gold like how it was on the old toy and on the show, and these headlights were painted either the sky blue right here or the gold like how it was on the toy, because in the show these were like headlights and they were blue right here, but on the toy they were painted gold. So either one would have been cool, but they just left it unpainted, which isn't too big of a deal, but I wish it was there. And I've seen people complaining about how hollow this section is, but I don't know, it was sort of like that in the original toy. It wasn't as hollow in this section here, but I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, it's an alien car, so I wouldn't really expect it to have the same type of design as cars here on Earth. So one problem I do have with this alt mode is that this cavity section here doesn't tab in too well. You can see my camera. It locks in there, but it doesn't go all the way down, as you can see. Like it just pops right out like that, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's basically the only real issue I have with this figure. Like I stated in my Cosmos review, there is a bit of QC in terms of paint, and I really wish they didn't pack these guys in vehicle mode, because I would have been able to see or the person that got this for me, rather, because I didn't find any of these figures in stores. Somebody helped me out, and the person probably would have been able to see that the paint on this head was messed up. So just in case that happened, or this figure started yellowing, I also got a second one, which is what we'll be looking at in robot mode, because the overall paint on this one is way better. But the paint on the eyes, there was a little bit of blue paint missing on this eye, so I painted it over, but then I also painted the other eye over too, because the blues didn't match up perfectly. But the eyes are much more vibrant now, because they used a darker blue for the eyes for some reason, but then they used a brighter blue for this diamond piece and then the crest on top of the head. There's also some missing paint there, but not too big of a deal. The paint has been a little shoddy for me with this Velocitron line. Mentioned it in Cosmos, and Override has that issue too, so I don't know what's going on with the QC, but it is what it is. Let's get down to transformation. Now, the QC issues that I have with this is, let me get some more light on there. There's like gold paint missing right here. This section here is missing gold paint, and then up here it's missing the gold, which looked weird, and part of the nose is painted red, which looks pretty weird too, which I didn't like. And you could see there, both of the eyes, if you could see, you could sort of make it out. It's kind of tough on camera here, but it kind of looks like she has pupils, but then again, it looks so weird because she's missing paint right in the middle, and it's just black there on both eyes, and it looks annoying to me. I didn't really like it, so I decided I was originally gonna leave the other one on ice, but I just opened it up because I just wasn't feeling the head sculpt at the time. I don't know. Sort of on camera, it looks like she has pupils, but then again, it's sort of weird to me. Like, I don't know. We're just gonna look at this one right here. Look at her in a semi-decent pose here. Her posability is a bit, I don't know. For a deluxe at a Voyager scale, like, I get it with the exclusive budget for Walmart. They didn't have a lot to work with, and it really is a miracle that this thing is a brand new mold, to be honest with you. But then again, it still doesn't negate the fact that her articulation, she has all the articulation that every modern figure has had since Siege, but it's a little lacking in some areas, I feel, especially at the Voyager scale right here. Like, you could get 90-degree elbows there, but, I mean, there's nothing really stopping it except for useless sculpt work there for the black. I mean, it's even sculpted deeper in there to get above 90, like, I don't know. This should easily be at like 110 degrees or something. Like, I'm just not feeling that. I mean, she has wrist swivel, which is great. And, you know, if you untab this, you could sort of get a little bit of play there with the butterfly joint, but obviously it's going to look a little bit awkward because that whole piece is supposed to tab in right there. So, I don't know. It would have been nice. And also, her head just swivels. Like, there's no real play in the ball joint. It is ball jointed, but I wouldn't force anything because the back is clear plastic, which is just freaking fantastic. But the clear plastic, I will say though, feels very solid on this figure. The chest cavity feels nice, and the headpiece doesn't feel cheap at all either. So, seems like they sort of stepped up their clear plastic game with this figure. Probably due to the Voyager budget, maybe, but I don't know. And also, another main problem is the waist swivel is a bit limited because you could get a little bit out of it. You could get that much. But due to this back piece and how it transforms and tabs in, you can't move it out the way. The only great part about this articulation that feels like, oh, I'm getting extra articulation here for a deluxe class figure is that, I don't know, and maybe this is even a stretch as extra articulation. You get deeper knees than you generally get with most deluxes, which is good. And you get some play, extra play in the feet here. It can move down a little bit and up just a tad bit. And you do get some ankle pivot, which is all right. It does its job, but if you want to get her into some crazy poses, it's sort of limiting just a little bit. But that's not to say the articulation isn't bad. I mean, it's got everything you would expect a modern Transformer to have. It just feels a little bit bland, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. She's also missing some paint here, some blue in the thighs, which isn't too big of a deal, but I mean, she looks good. This is easily the best override figure we've ever gotten. It blows out the third-party one because it obviously isn't accurate to the show at all. And it blows out the original figure by a lot because, for one, there's more articulation, and two, the chest isn't a wide hulking piece of junk. Like, the chest is actually, the shoulders and the chest are actually to scale with the rest of the body, and the arms are longer and a bit more beefier too, like she was in the show. And there's a little cavity right there that this isn't just a coincidence. They actually sculpted this perfectly right there to fit a cyber key in there. It's a tad bit loose because I think your mileage may vary because of how tightly this may be pinned in, because these are two separate pieces pinned together. But it fits a Cyber Planet key in there perfectly. You got the Speed Planet key that I got from Crumple Zone. And here she is next to her fellow hard-to-find wave mate, Cosmos. Did I nail the voice a little bit? It kind of sounded like Waspinator. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. Here she is with Crosswise and Evac, and I think that the scale is pretty perfect. Maybe Crosswise just a tad bit taller, maybe to like right here, but yeah, these are pretty much perfect together. Woo! I'm busting out all the Cybertron oldies today. Here she is next to Wing Saber and Leo Breaker. Looking very good. Some Ultra classes next to sort of bigger deluxe class in today's age. And here she is next to the two big boys, Optimus and Megatron. Obviously, Override and Megatron faced off a little bit in that little race scene in Season 1. And here she is next to the fellow leader, Optimus Prime. Obviously, they have quite a few scenes together. They're two leaders. And I now have 4 planet leaders. I just got Metroplex in, so expect a overview / review of that guy coming soon, later on this week, probably, maybe like for a Sunday review or something. Now, to rank this Override on the Delicious meter, I would have to give her an 8 out of 10. She's a solid figure, one of the best deluxes or Voyagers, whatever you want to call this thing. I think she's one of the best Voyager classes we've gotten. It just feels like, it's just a couple issues I have with her. The articulation feeling just a little bit bland. If she had maybe more play in the ball joint for the head and maybe a deeper elbow bend, it would have been a bit better for me. And the QC on her, in terms of the head sculpt and that gold paint on the chest, was a bit annoying to deal with, having to open them both up. But other than that, she's pretty freaking fantastic and the best version of Override that we're probably ever going to get in the main line, unless if some third party blows it out of the water with some $80, $90 figure. But yeah, definitely pick her up if you get a chance to see her at Walmart. I know it's pretty hard right now, but if you're able to pick her up, go ahead and pick her right up. But yep, that is the first episode of Delicious Meter Override, 8 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. The Cosmos and Cybertron Optimus Prime stop motion reviews will be linked down in the description for those of you who want to watch. And yeah, see you guys later.
Congratulations, you have made it to the end of this video.